I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rakakadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the whole elect. Noah's in the gospel, brother, and up to standard. I mean, how about Hashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. I want to say Salakia for earlier. Technical difficulties, and then just essentially the Spirit didn't want it to be, too many moving parts. So the Spirit had stopped the live stream anyway, so it's all good. But anyway, I was just speaking on some things through the Spirit that the elder brother Pashai was speaking on earlier in his video. That's crazy. I just filled up like yesterday. How am I low? But anyway, I was with the elder Pashai from the Assyrians. What is it? GMS Assyrians, if I'm not mistaken. And he was just going into how this devil has tainted and poisoned the food supply, and going into natural flavors being from a beaver anal gland. If brothers knew that, going into the natural products and all this other shit that they claim it is, and how they regulate certain poisons to be looked at as food, and substance here is nothing more but a stab at the Israelites, which is the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man. So essentially, we got to get delivered, because you don't know what the hell you eating, man. And just in general, this is just a fucked up world. I was at a work event today, and they do their little holiday bullshit, which was mandatory, food, and they give out awards and all this other stuff. And and you just look at the mindset of the people. These people really got hope in Babylon, but looking at it in hindsight, the morale was low, because everybody that I was at work with today, it was just a dead spirit. And we're in the alleged holiday season right now, and these people trying to keep up or save face for what they know is tradition, and the Lord is not dealing with the traditions of men, okay? So, with that being said, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai has risen up his servants, the prophets, to finally declare the end of this wicked-ass kingdom. And this is what you see with the brothers out on the streets teaching and giving what the scriptures say, giving diligence to make thy calling and election sure. That's what that's what we're commissioned to do in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, man. All right, so all this other madness is just minute BS. All right, but anyway, going back into what the elder brother was saying, you got certain things that's regulated through the Spirit, well, not regulated through the Spirit, but on the left hand side, like foods. Prime example. Half the shit you get, the ingredient wise, there's no transparency in it, because I was looking at some margarita mix the other day, and it had like 40, I'm gonna say 40 different ingredients, but it had like 8 different ingredients in it. Yellow number 40, and it had like some other dye in it, and the natural flavoring was on there. And I'm like, yeah, this is what the elder brother was talking about. And essentially, I've known that because as I was younger, I used to drink liquor like Ciroc and like different flavors and the flavoring in it. And I'm like, why do they need to have an apple version of Ciroc? If they can just make it out of pure apples and, get the flavoring that way. But they putting chemicals in that shit. Hence why people have turbo cancers, why people are sick, why people are all messed up, why their bodies isn't functioning properly. And this devil, he does that shit on purpose, man, because Esau is not in the business of healing the people, okay? Everything in this bizarro world is considered the upside down. So everything that you think that's right in this place, you got to think the polar opposite, man, because this is truly the upside down. Okay, the scriptures go into surely you're turning things upside down should be esteemed as the potter's clay. All right, because when you look at the life as we know it, I mean, it's backwards as all hell. The fact that you got women that rule over men, kids rule over the house. All right, you got moles that's being exalted over straight men. And you think about it, it's really aggravating and it's really nerve-wracking in the spirit, because it's like, how long, oh Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, till we get delivered from this hell? I made mention of it in yesterday's lesson that one of my homeboys, pretty cool dude, man, I've been knowing for some time. And he straight up told me, and I made mention of it in the transit yesterday. He straight up told me, he said, man, a homosexual got more rights than you, bro. And I said, I know that. A fucking dog got more right to life than a so-called black man in America. And what proves that, your own woman don't respect you. You know? You see it having a salad over 40 to 50 ingredients in it. Yeah. And essentially the ingredients in it, like you get the, like if you go to McDonald's, like I don't recommend nobody eat that shit, but I'm using that as an example. You get this salad from Mickey D's and you look at the flavoring on the packet. Look how many ingredients is in it. High fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, which, you know, organic cane sugar is just sugar, but high fructose corn syrup, that's another way of saying sugar. And they call the sugar disease diabetes. And diabetes is one of the top, or obesity is one of the top leading causes for diabetes here because people are inactive, man. Okay, they call it the sugar disease. And a lot of Jakes got that disease because, for one thing, Jake ain't really active like that. And two, Jake got horrible diets, man. You know, Jake eat junk food. They eat fucking hard fried chicken, which essentially there's really nothing wrong with eating fried chicken, depending on what oils you use, man. But even then, you don't want to be eating that shit 7 days a week. Okay, like I grew up in Chicago, right? So, you know, it ain't nothing but food out there. But you got Jakes out there, they live on Harold's Chicken 7 days a week. You know your body is gonna be all fucked up, man. Gyro cheeseburgers and shit, flaming hots with cheese and meat. You know, Jake didn't know what nutrition was, you know, living in those parts of the other world because everything is so abundant. But Esau's such a devil to the point he actually sell these foods and he'll give them to you for cheap, man. But when it comes to buying the real shit, the Whole Foods, everything is overpriced, man. You know, like the thing about food stamps, the elder made an excellent point as well. He said, those of you that got food stamps, you should have the healthiest diets because you're essentially getting food for free, man. Like Whole Foods, Natural Grocers, Trader Joe's, all those so-called high-end stores, Sprouts, you know, they're just to name a few that we have out here. You would think that Jake, you know, and some of these Edomites will have better diets because, you know, they essentially get food for free. Food stamps, $1,200 in food stamps, and yet this nigga's buying fucking Kit Kats, Twinkies, boxed potato chips, white bread, Frito-Lays, hot dogs, all the shit that's designed to kill your ass, man. You know? But yet, Whole Foods, you can buy Whole Foods with a food stamp card. You could buy Whole Foods with Link card or whatever the hell you want to call it. You could buy apples and bananas with EBT. You know? Like there was this big fat black woman, I think she bitch had like 8, 9 kids, and her ass was getting like $1,500 a month in food stamps. And her dumb ass did a TikTok video broadcasting all the junk food she got, and then what, a couple of months later, the shutdown came and they weren't getting them food stamps essentially. You know? But that's to say this, you got all these kids and yet you got box of Twinkies, you got fucking potato chips, you got pancakes, waffles, all these things full of carbs and sugars, man. Which carbs ain't bad, you know, if you're constantly active, but even then you got to limit the carbs you eat depending on what kind of carbs you eat. You know, because you got something which is called trans fat. You know, you have also what they call you know, your cholesterol levels can be up. You got trans fat, and you got because for my job, man, you know, we be into like a lot of the labels and all that other stuff. And people I work with, I try to, you know, educate them on certain things that they can utilize in their diets and cutting out certain shit. But even then, you know, you got cholesterol, you got salt value, you got nutritional value and all these other things. And Jake just buy shit that have no nutrition in it because the food is really empty calorie, you know? And these people don't understand what a caloric deficit is, meaning that you eat less calories than what your body needs so you can burn fat. Then they got what they call the Ozempic shot, when a lot of these fucking women, they take this shot, which technically destroys their organs, and they lose a lot of weight and strength. Instead of getting in the fucking gym and hitting the treadmill or running around a block, you know, for a couple of minutes a day to burn the weight naturally, they'll go put a goddamn shot in their body to burn the damn weight, and then they'll end up sick later on down the line and still have a horrible diet, man. You know? That's why, hey, our people all fucked up. This is why we got to get the hell up out of here, man. You know? See what the brother posts on the comment board. Matthews 24:22. Ezekiel 4:12. It says, and thou, hold on. What is this? Ezekiel 4:12. And it reads, it says, and thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung that come out of men in their sight. And the Lord say, even thus the children of Israel will eat their bread defiled among the Gentiles, which I would drive them, right? Because the food is defiled. Everything you eat is defiled. You know, like they catered in some food today, and I mean, the shit was good. I'm not gonna lie. They had like pasta, they had green beans, they had potatoes, they had like this little macaroni shit, and they had some chicken, you know, and the chicken was fried, but you could tell they didn't fry it in, it was probably baked, like a baked fry almost, and they probably saturated in like a particular, like a grapeseed oil or something. It wasn't vegetable oil, because you could tell the difference between when chicken is fried in vegetable oil, Crisco, what's the other one, canola oil, and then you also have like me personally, if I do fried chicken, it'd be in coconut oil or grapeseed oil, because those are allowed to be heated to a high temperature. Okay, like not olive oil, that's not really good for regulating high temperatures. So if you ever try to fry chicken in olive oil, good luck. It's not gonna work. It ain't gonna turn out good. Though olive oil is a very good oil base, but it's not good at high temperatures. Grapeseed oil, avocado oil, and also coconut oil is good at high temperatures. But most people, they use canola oil, which is poison, all right, and vegetable oil, which vegetable oil is not bad for you, but when you fry it to a high degree, then it kills all the nutrients in it. So essentially, it's not a good oil to be cooking in, man, or to be frying food in. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it. For those of you out there that may be into some type of fitness or whatever, you know, watch the oils and so forth that you're using on your food, man. You know, like I try to buy organic butter, you know, Himalayan sea salt. You know, I got a plethora of herbs. I got a slippery elm, marshmallow root, psyllium husk. You know, things like digestive herbs, man. You know, digestive bitters, guillotine tea, peppermint, chamomile tea. You know, which it helps to regulate and cool the immune system. It helps to calm the immune system down. You know, take a shot of olive oil on an empty stomach, or coconut oil. You know, all good for the body. You know, but yet, out of all this information coming out, niggas still going to motherfucking Wendy's, man. That ain't no real fucking chicken. You don't know what that is. You know? But yet, you try to correct our people on eating right, then they feel like you judge me. You can't be judging me, man. You don't know what I be going through here, nigga. I know what you going through. You obese, bro. You know, and then you got a group of people out here that just claim, you know, like now the new fad now is everybody's on this health kick. Everybody is everybody's their own herbologist now. You got niggas on TikTok bringing out the fact that they're dealing with Irish sea moss now, which sea moss basically, it just absorbs all the bad shit you done ate. So essentially, you're working against yourself. But you got niggas now talking about, yeah, I do sea moss, I do this and that. I'm drinking 9.8 pH water and all this other shit. But yet the nigga was just eating pork 2-3 years ago. You know, like this pandemic era, it's brought out a bunch of degenerates, man. From podcast demons to niggas that swear they health gurus to men that swear they're prophets. Now niggas trying to tell us about geopolitics when he just learned about it 5 months ago watching TikTok all goddamn day, man. When you got men that's actually studied and learned in these endeavors and they're able to bring them out. So you people are essentially a bunch of goddamn hypocrites, man. And this is why the Heavenly Father is getting ready to do away with this place, because the hypocrisy is at an all-time high. You know? A couple more precepts here. And essentially, I didn't really have anything. Like I said earlier, I wanted to go into this information, but it was too much going on. The spirit didn't allow the video to go up, so I just took it down. Because I noticed when I'm passing through a certain area, my phone lose signal, and then to reconnect back to the towers, it has a hard time. So that's what that was. So the spirit didn't want that. But anyway, Matthews 24:22. And it says here, and except those days be shortened, there no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days were shortened. Yep, that's why we got to get up out of here, man. Okay, all the chemtrails, the chemicals, they're spraying in the air. They're talking about a winter time unlike any other, supposed to be manifesting around Christmas or whatever. We don't know, but they're talking about another polar vortex to the point temperatures are going to be bone-chilling cold, record-breaking cold. You know, and the scriptures goes into how plagues will hit Egypt as before, according to 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, starting in verses 13, maybe. You know, so we just have to wait and see. But overall, man, this devil is getting ready to go down, and he's getting ready to come down with great wrath, man, because Trump, man, hey, he wants Venezuela, he wants the resources, he wants the oil, because the Western hegemonies, they're collapsing because nobody wants to do business with them anymore, because all the other nations realize that they can sell their oil without America's approval. So essentially, they're like, the hell with America, we don't need you, you know. But the only thing they have to worry about is sanctions being put on them in their military, which the nations, they have military, okay? They have allies, they have ways of defending themselves from the whore. So Babylon is cooked all the way around, man. All right. Where we at? Sirach 37 and 28. It says, "For all things are not profitable for all men, neither have every soul pleasure in everything." 29. "But be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats." It reads, it says, "For excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into choler." Yeah. All right. That's why, like I said, your diet, you know, watching what you eat, watch what you put in your body, you know, because growing up in America, man, we've grown up on an American-based diet, which is basically chemicals and meat-centric. And, you know, in the ancient world, yeah, we had meat, but you wasn't consuming meat 7 days a week. Okay, every diet here in America, you're consuming nothing but fucking meat, man, and it takes hours, if not days, for your bodies to fully break that protein down. You know, and meat can be toxic to the bloodstream if you consume too much, and this is why people are all bagged up, which is nothing wrong with eating meat. Meat is good. It's good protein, you know, depending on what cut meat you eat. You know, like I try to do grass-fed beef, you know, lean turkey, you know, as less processed shit as possible. You know, when I do bread, I do sourdough. I do like whole grain, you know, but I rarely do bread because, you know, bread is ultimately a carb. It turns to sugar. All carbs turns into sugar. Hence why Jake be having diabetes, you know. But like with rice, I do like jasmine, or I do like basmati rice, brown rice. I don't really do white rice. I don't do white rice. I mean, you could say jasmine rice is a type of white rice, but it still have the nutrients in it. You know, stuff like that. The water, I mean, you know, we can always do better on water. Me personally, I don't want to be spending $50, $60 a month on $12 bottles of Fiji, you know, even though, you know, Fiji water is essentially no different than all the other shit, but it looks better and it got a little better quality taste to it, you know. But they make shit like this overly expensive because they don't want you to have access to it, so hence you get the bottom of the barrel shit. But I still drink a decent spring water though, you know, with a decent pH in it. And make your own water, you know. Get you a couple of drops of lemon, you know, put you some baking soda in there, like a cap size of baking soda up in a cap. Put it in your water, put a lemon drop in there, and that go your alkaline water. Your pH level just went up a couple of points, you know. Stay away from the pops, the soda pops, you know. Stay away from all the other juices. Like if I do juice, I rarely do apple juice, but if I do juice, it'll be like orange juice, you know, or like a prune juice, cranberry juice, something like that. But 90% of the beverages I drink, 95% is really water. Okay, I rarely drink anything else. If it ain't water, it ain't nothing else. And the shakar, I don't really get down on the shakar like that no more either. And I got a ton of the shit at the crib. It's just there. And when people come over to visit, or brothers come, or a breezy come through, I may have a, you know, couple of shots of you know, Patron or whatever. But other than that, the shit just sit there until I need it, you know. But, you know, just being conscious of what you're putting in your body, man. You know, yeah, you know, we can't 100% because, but you can have some type of consciousness about certain things you put in your body. All right, am I perfect? Nah, not 100%. Nah, you know, I'll fuck up, I'll go off. I got my cheat days. You know, like today, you know, I had some food at the job. You know, I feel decent. I don't feel all grogged up. But at the same time, I'm on like a 30-day cleanse. It's like a soft detox, which detox the kidneys and the liver, you know, cleans the gut, the colon, all that shit, you know, and it got different herbs in there, slippery elm, it got, you know, all types of good shit in there, and it helps you use the bathroom, because a lot of times too, you know, people ain't opening up the back door, so they're literally full of shit, and you're not moving your bowels properly. You know, you have what they call endotoxins, which tucca or bowel salt, which is naturally produced in the gallbladder, supposed to push these things out. You know, a lot of people don't know that. This is why you have a supplement industry in America, because, you know, essentially the foods are, or the shit they supposed to be in the foods, like the digestive enzymes that's supposed to be in the foods, is not in the food no more. So they got $1 billion supplement industry, and a lot of that supplement shit, brothers, be real with you, a lot of it is really fillers, man. Okay, you may get some shit that may say turmeric, or you may get some slippery elm bark pills, or you may get some aloe vera pills or whatever. Also, aloe vera juice too is good for moving bowels. But you can get that stuff in the form of a capsule, and it depends on what brand you get. It may not be nothing but fillers, man. This is why I recommend, when you do herbs, yeah, get you capsules, of course, you know, can't really go wrong with them, but get it in a powder form if you can. Like my slippery elm, my marshmallow root, my psyllium husk, that's all a powder, man. You know, like my herbs, my teas, my chamomile tea, that's all actual herbs and shit. You know, so just be mindful on what you're putting in your body, especially in this day and age. You know, try to get your body in some type of shape, get them moving around. You know, we're designed to move around, not be couch potatoes. You know, avocado oil, smoke point. Yep, 500 degrees is right. But anyway, reading these last couple of precepts, and I'll be done with it. Verse 30, for excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting returneth to choler. But by surfeiting many have perished, and he that taketh heed will prolong life. And surfeiting goes into being drunken, man, partying all the damn time. Like, you see these celebrities, man, like, ain't no way in hell you're a multi-million-dollar and your diet is terrible. You know, I mean, it makes no sense. Like, this guy is named David Goggins. I believe he was like an ex-Navy SEALs or some shit. Dude is a fucking beast, man. I mean, he put my man Israel Adesanya, he put that nigga out of commission. Nigga was throwing up, coughing, crawling, sweating. And he said, we ain't even got started with the workout yet. And this is a top MMA dude, man. So that make you wonder what type of shape this David Goggins dude is, man. Because we supposed to be like that. Like Apostle Tahar say, he said a Jake should be able to rip your fucking head off, bro. Okay, Jake shouldn't be out here going 10-minute sparring rounds with niggas, bro. You should be able to, you get into a scuffle, you should be able to take a nigga out of commission in 30 seconds, man. You know? Get your wind up, walk, you know? Do jumping jacks, squats, whatever. Run, jog, shit. Shadow box, whatever you do to keep yourself moving. But that's the type of men we supposed to be. We're warriors. Okay? King David had men in his army. They were warriors, man. Okay? One man said he slew 800 men at once, and his sword claimed it to the sheath of his wrist, man. He couldn't even put it down. Samson, 1,000 men with a jawbone of an ass. Men jumping over walls, leaping over walls, said he slew a lion-like man of Moab, man. You know? So anyway, just another quick lesson through the spirit. Giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the whole elect. Lord's will, you were edified. To the next lesson. Shalom. Kwame Sharala. Abba. Shalom.